we have made it to a fantastic view.
Displaying the glory of God's creation by visiting every state park, national park, and national forest in the contiguous 48 states. Welcome to Parking Full Time with Big Dave the Parker.
Welcome back to Parking Full Time. I am Big Dave the Parker. We are at Fort Mountain State Park. We are on the west side of the Cohutta Mountains in North Georgia. We're about 60 miles southeast of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Today is Tuesday, June the 13th. And the temperature right now is a glorious 68 degrees. It is a really beautiful late afternoon here in the North Georgia mountains. There are a number of trails at this park, but as I mentioned, it is getting late in the afternoon. And so we're going to keep our hike short. We are going to hike the Stone Wall Trail and the Stone Wall Loop. This loop is only about a mile long, but there are a lot of interesting things to see on this loop. So let's get to seeing them. Mentioned we were on the west side of the Cohutta Mountains, and after about 10 minutes of moderate climbing, we have made it to a fantastic view. There's a little bit of smog and haze in the air today. I've been up here in the cooler months when there wasn't as much smog around. Still a nice view. This is one interesting thing to see. Let's see what other interesting things we can find. We went uphill behind the Overlook. We climbed about 70 steps. And then came uphill a little bit more. And we have reached this. This is the old Civilian Conservation Corps Fire Tower. This was built in the 1930s by the Depression-era Civilian Conservation Corps. Now, there were pluses and minuses to the Civilian Conservation Corps, but every time I see a structure like this, my first thought is they don't build them like this anymore. And they don't. So this is interesting. This is actually the highest point on this hike. There is at least one more interesting thing to see on this hike, and it is down that trail right there. We've come downhill from the old fire tower, and we have now reached this. I mentioned this was called the Stone Wall Loop. This trail was called the Stone Wall Loop, and this is why. This is the old stone wall that is the reason this mountain is called Fort Mountain. Now, the interesting thing about that stone wall is nobody knows who built it. It's clearly not natural. You don't see this sort of thing anywhere else in this area or any areas naturally occurring. But nobody knows who built it. There's a Cherokee legend that this was built by the Moon-Eyed people. I don't really believe that, but I like it because I'm part Cherokee. So that's one explanation. Other people think it was built by the early explorers, or maybe early farmers, but we don't know. So it's interesting and a little bit mysterious. We only have a few hundred feet to go to get back down to the trailhead and the parking lot, so I'm going to go ahead and do the outro here. I do want to thank you for watching. Parking full time would not be anything without the people who watch. I have to go down some steep stone steps here. And you could watch up to or over 30 million different YouTube channels. And so every day I thank you for watching Parking Full Time. Also, I took a vow many years ago not to make any money off of anything I produce for this project. And so the only thing I get are your likes, your subscribes, and your comments, and I really appreciate all of those. This is a nice hike. It's a short hike. Stone wall continues down here. It's really quite an impressive stone wall here. Not a long hike. There are longer hikes to do here. But for a hike to put in at the end of the day, this is a good choice. So I'm going to close this video. Until next time, I am Big Dave the Parker from Fort Mountain State Park, Northwest Georgia. Have a great afternoon. Take care. And Lord bless.